Hi, Acharya ji. Good morning.
Om Namah Shivaya.
So we are on the last stretch of chapter 10 and I don't know whether we will finish it. But if there is a chance of finishing it, then I might extend the class a few minutes. I hope you will bear with that.
Yes, of course, Acharya ji. We look forward to finishing.
So let us turn to the 34th verse. Shri Bhagavanuvacha
Shri
Bhagavanuvacha.
Rityah sarvaharashchaham
Sarvaharashvaham.
Udbhavascha bhavishyatam
Uddhavascha bhavishyatam.
Kirtishri Vakchanarena
Kirtishri Varinam.
Mritirmedha Dhritihi Kshamaha. So, more of the same idea of conveying that I am everything. So, Aham Mrityuhu, I am death. Sarvaharascha. So, Sarvaharascha is Sarvaharascha. So, Sarvaharacha Aham. That's how it comes. Aham Mrityuhu Sarvaharacha. I am the destroyer of everything called Mrityuhu, called death. Not only that, Udbhavacha. I am also the source of origination of everything. Of what? Bhavishyatam. So you have to take the earlier one as I am the source of everything that is here, and Bhavishyatam, I am also the source of everything that is yet to come. Then Narinam, I am the source of all the female devatas, the Devis, and Kirtihi, fame, Srihi, prosperity, Vak, speech, Smritihi, memory, Medha, intelligence, Dhritihi, fortitude, Kshamaha, patience. So, in short, I am the source of everything. So, Aham Sarvaharaha Mrityu Asmi. And death is of two types. So, Shankara says that death is of two types. One is Dhana Adi Haraha and one is Prana Haraha. So, one is the destruction of your wealth and one is the destruction of your prana, very life itself. And among those two, what am I? I am pranaharaha. I am the one who takes away the prana. And why is that superior to the one who takes away your wealth? Any
Wealth
idea?
can be acquired any other. Wealth
Yeah,
can be
can.
other time, but if prana goes.
When prana goes, everything else also automatically goes.
Yes.
So pranaha is all inclusive and therefore sarvaharaha. I am not only the destroyer of your wealth, I am also the destroyer of your prana. Essentially means Yamaraja, the one who takes away your body. Okay. And now Shankara is not happy with that. So he gives another meaning. He says, why is he not happy with that? Because when you say you take prana, you are giving Ishvara a very limited meaning. What is that? Yamaraj, the god of death. But that is not what Krishna is saying, right? Krishna is Sarvahara. I'm everything, he says. I take away everything. And therefore, Shankara says, Sarvaharaha should be taken as I am the one who takes away everything during Pralayam. I am the one who destroys the world. Therefore, Shankara says, don't take this as Yama, take this as Ishvaraha. Because Lord Yama removes only the jivas. Remember, Lord Yama cannot touch the devatas, cannot touch Hiranyagarbha, cannot touch creation also. Why so? All very nice ideas which don't come up anywhere else. Why can he not remove devatas? It's an idea which we have seen. Why cannot Lord Yama cause the death of devatas? Come on, guys. You're advanced.
He's only responsible for the bodies on the earth and not the
Devatas
Devaloka.
are jivas, of course, but their
Yeah, but
lifetime
with
is
the
one
higher,
srishti.
yeah.
Their lifetime is one srishti. Okay. And Lord Yama also has the lifetime of a srishti. Therefore, not only can he not touch the devatas, he cannot touch creation itself. So one is Lord Yama is apekshika sarvahara. That means relatively they destroyed everything. But Ishvara is atyantika sarvahara, the complete destroyer of everything. And udbhavascha. So udbhavascha, Shankara says, should include all your future prosperity. So not just the increase in wealth in future, not just the people who come in future, but also dharmartha kama, all these positive aspects of life which will contribute to the spiritual growth of the person. He is the one who is the cause of all that. And then he talks about females, because in our tradition, all which is pleasant, all which is positive, they are represented as goddesses. And therefore, we have health and wealth and knowledge that is in the form of goddesses Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati. All that is Ahamasmi, everything I am. So, Nari Nam. So, here Nari is not human female, Nari is a female Devata, so Devi. So, every aspect of Ishvara is being brought in. Kirtihi, fame, name, right? So Kirtihi is presided over by Kirti Devata. Then Vak, there is a Vak Devi is there. Then Smriti, there is a faculty member governing the memory. So Smriti also, which is a very good virtue to have, is a very good functioning of the brain. That also I am. Medha, the intelligence principle, that also I am. And that is why you have a special suktam, special prayer called Medha Suktam for Medha Devi. So Dhriti is perseverance, or the willpower which remains, which is the faculty because of which, in spite of repeated failure, a person does not give up. A person continues the effort on the spiritual path. Dhritihi, that perseverance, that fortitude. Then Kshama, the patience, the forbearance, the capacity to wait. What in Hindi we call pratiksha. You know, if there's a very famous dialogue in that um, serial called Mahabharat, where every time Duryodhan gets upset and he goes running to Bhishma, what does Bhishma say? You don't remember. It came in almost every episode, it was there. Every time Duryodhan gets upset and goes to Bhishma, Bhishma says, Pratiksha karna siko putra. Learn to be patient.
Patience also.
Learn to be patient. A huge virtue. So that also I am. Okay. Then the next verse number 35. Bhratsam tatha samnam
Brihatsam tatha
Sam,
Sam,
samnam
Tam,
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 samnam
Samna,
samnam
Gayatri chandasamaham
Gayatri
Gayatri
Chandasamaham,
Chandasamaham,
Masanam margashirshoham
Masana
Sanam
Margashirsham
Margashirshom,
Tunam kusumakaraha.
Poonam
Udunam
Kusumakaraha,
Kusumakaraha.
So Brihatsam Samnam. Among all the Samas, Samnam, among all the Sama mantras, I am what? I am the Brihat Samaha. So Brihat Sama is a particular mantra which is in Samaveda, which glorifies the Lord. So it's called a very great mantra, Brihat Sama. So a very auspicious mantra. So among all the Sama mantras, I am that Brihat Sama. Then Chandasam, among all the meters, Vedic meters, Chanda is a meter. Gayatri Chandaha Sama. Among all the Gayatri, among all the meters, I am the Gayatri. Right? Now remember that the word Chanda, the Vachyartham, the direct meaning of the word Chanda is what? Meter. Right? So, but here the word Chanda is taken as the mantra itself. So you cannot take Chanda as a meter over here. You have to take the mantra, Chanda as the mantra, which is the Lakshyartham. And that is okay, because otherwise the meaning does not fit. See, normally when you are confronted by the Vachyartha and the Lakshyartha, what is the rule? Which to choose? Or
The
elementary?
Lakshyartha.
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 When you're confronted by Vachyartha and Lakshyartha, if both are there, if both fit, the Vachyartha is the correct one. That's why it's called the Vachyartha, the literal meaning, right? When the Vachyartha doesn't fit, the Lakshyartha has to be taken. And here we are not talking about the Vachyartham, we're talking about the Lakshyartham. Lakshyartham is a mantra itself. So Shankara says, take Chanda as the mantra itself, the Lakshyartham of the word Chanda. And then you have to say that among all the mantras, I am the Gayatri mantra. He is not saying among all the Vedic meters, I am the Gayatri meter. Because that doesn't make too much sense, right? There is nothing which distinguishes the Gayatri meter from the other meters. So on a stup you have, there are so many other meters are there. But Trishtup meter is there, Anushtup meter is there, which you all seen in the Bhagavad Gita. But the saying that among all the meters I am the Gayatri meter, there is no real relevance to that statement. And therefore he says, you take the Vachyartham, say that I am among all the mantras, I am the Gayatri mantra. And why should you take that? Because Gayatri is supposed to be the Veda Sar. You remember the story I told you about how Gayatri came into being?
Yes, you said Brahma.
Yes. People did not have time to chant the mantras. So Brahmaji said that I am going to reduce each Veda into one particular line. So Tat Savitur Varenyam is the Rig Veda essence. Bhargo Devasya Dhemahi is the Yajurveda essence. Dhyo yo na prachodayat is the Samaveda Saraha, Samaveda essence. And that he put it into these three are the actual Gayatri Mantra. Okay, the actual Gayatri Mantra is only these three lines. And it is the essence of the three Vedas. Atharvana is not included here. So three Vedas, Rig, Yajur, Samaha. And it is a mantra to the sun god, to the Aditya Devata. So it's called the Savitri Mantra also. Devata is Savituhu. Right? So the real name is Savitu Mantra, but because of the chanda or the particular meter, which is in the Gayatri meter, it's also called Gayatri. Right? Now this Om Bhu Bhuva Swaha is the beginning. Right? But if you take that Om Bhu Bhuva Swaha, Om is the name of the Lord, Bhu is the Thula Prapancha, Bhuva is the Sukshma Prapancha, Swaha is the Karana Prapancha, Om is Chaitanya, the Lord itself. And therefore, in the words Om Bhu Bhuva Swaha, the all the worlds, three worlds, plus the consciousness principle are taken, and therefore nothing is left out. And that is why in Mandukya we saw Om iti idam sarvam. Om is everything. Right? So Tat Varenyam. On that Ishvara, Varenyam, who is worthy of being worshipped, Dhimahi, I meditate. As what? Devasya Satsavituhu, the one who is self-effulgent, Yaha, Tadishvara, Bhargaha, Prachodayat, Naha, diyaha. Medadishwara, enlighten, prachodayat. Bhargavaha, knowledge. Naha diyaha, my mind. So when you chant, make sure you don't say na diyaha, right? Na diyaha means may he not enlighten. So naha is me. The difference between the visarga and the na. Na is no, naha is me. So may he enlighten my mind. It's considered one of the most auspicious mantra, and therefore it is said that if you repeat the Gayatri, if you chant the Gayatri, you have chanted the whole three Vedas. Right? So Gayatri Gayantam Trayate iti Gayatri. Whoever chants the Gayatri, that Gayatri mantra, that Savituh Devata will protect him. Right? So when I worship Surya Devata, what happens? My memory power increases, my Meda Shakti increases, and that is why every Vedantic student is required to chant Gayatri daily. So as Vedantic students, we should be chanting Gayatri daily. So it is said in tradition, traditionally of course it is said that if you don't chant the Gayatri, then any other mantra that you chant, it will not give you a benefit. And it is also said that if you don't chant any mantra, but chant the Gayatri only, then no other mantra is required to be chanted. And therefore, Gayatri is a very, very auspicious mantra. That's why Krishna says, I am the Gayatri mantra. Right? So, if a person does not chant Gayatri mantra, he cannot be called a Vaidika. That is the idea. Therefore, I am the most auspicious among all the mantras. I am the Gayatri mantra. Okay. Then, Masanam Marga Shirshoham. Just give me 1 second. I'll be back. 1 second. Just give 1 second.
I came to New York because I can't go later. I want to go.
Okay. Sorry about the disturbance. So, Masanam Marga Shirsho Aham. So, Masanam, among the 12 months of the year, Mas is a month, Masanam, Aham Marga Shirshaha. I am the Marga Shirshaha month. What is special about the Marga Shirshaha month? Why is it called special?
Geeta was told, recited by.
Yes, so it is the December 15th to January 15th period, the period before Uttaranam starts. The battle was going on, and therefore, before the battle began, Geeta was chanted. Right? Now, here also remember that it is a month when there is crops are ready to be harvested, right? And therefore, it's taken as a very, very fertile month, a very, very auspicious month. There are some other commentators who say that Brahmaji's day, Brahmaji's day begins on Makar Sankranti. Okay. And therefore, this 1 month period before that is Brahma Muhurat for the Devatas. Right? Remember that for Devatas, their 1 day is equal to our 1 year. So, Devatas' day begins from Makar Sankranti. Therefore, Brahma Muhurat is just before that. So, that is why it's a very, very auspicious month. So, these are all things which we are familiar with, but we may not know the exact reasons why they considered auspicious. So that's why these verses are important for Vedikas. Then you have Rutunam Kusumakaraha. Rutu is what? Ritu is here, so she should at least answer. What is Ritu?
Season.
Ritu is season. So how many seasons are there? Don't tell me. You guys don't know.
Four
Four?
seasons.
Ritu, आप बोलिए. How many seasons are there?
6.
I think
Six
six.
seasons. 6 seasons are there. What are they?
Hemant, Shishir, Grishma, Vasant,
Yeah.
Varsha, and the last thing.
Hemanta.
Hemant and Shishi.
Right. Hemanta. So Vasant, each season, remember in our tradition, in our system, each season lasts for roughly 2 months. So there is a Vasant, which is mid-February to mid-April. So that is roughly equivalent to English spring, right? You have mild and pleasant weather across the country. So flowers bloom, etc., etc. And what are the festivals during this month? You have Vasant Panchami, Ugadi, Gudi Padwa, Holi, Ramanami, Vishu, all these come over there, right? And the Hindu months, you will take it as, those who are familiar can, the Chaitra and the Baisakhi, I think it is. And the next one is Grishma, which is mid-April to mid-June or somewhere like that. Summer, a hot season. And the festivals are Rath Yatra and Guru Purnima. Then Varsha, monsoon, mid-June to mid-August. So heavy rainfall across most of India. The Raksha Bandhan, Krishna, Janmashtami, etc. come during that time. Then Sharad Ritu, that is August to September, to I think October. So pleasant weather, clear skies, not very hot. You have more festivals there. Navaratri, Durga Puja, Diwali, Karwa Chauth, all is there. And Hemanta Ritu, that is, now Hemanta Ritu doesn't have a, what they call, clear correspondence in English. You can take it as pre-winter, before winter sets in. So at least in India, right? So it's mid-October to mid-December. Cool temperatures. It's a transition period. And it is in this period that Margashirsha month falls. Then Shishira. Shishira is the winter, mid-December to mid-February. So you got Lohri, you got Shivaratri. Remember here, Krishna does not use the word Vasanta. What is the word he use? He actually means that among all the seasons, I am Vasanta. But he says Kusumakaraha. What does it mean? Akaraha is an abundance, lots of, large quantities of. Kusuma is flower. So that season in which there is a abundance of flowers, that season I am. And that season is what? Vasanta only. Okay. So I told you before I'm talking all sort of things because there's nothing much to say about these things. Okay. Right. Verse number 36. द्यूतं छलयतामस्मि
द्यूतं छलयतामस्मि
तेजस्तेजस्विनामहम्
तेजस्तेजस्विनामहम्
जयोऽस्मि व्यवसायोऽस्मि
जयोऽस्मि व्यवसायोऽस्मि
सत्त्वं सत्त्वतामहम्
त्वं सत्त्वतामहम्.
So we saw that he talks about all the good things, right? He didn't talk about anything bad at all. Now here he says, Chalayatam. So chala is deception. So among all the deceptive activities, what am I? I am Dhyutam, the game of dice. Right? So among all the activities of deception, I am the game of dice. And what is special about the game of dice? There is nothing which you use your intellect for. It is a total surrender of your intellect to randomness. And this is addictive and can lead to destruction. Right? So he says, among all the games of deception, I am one of the most destructive games. Right? How should you understand even such a destructive activity is possible only because I am the giver of consciousness. Right? Okay. Then Tejas Vinam Aham. Among all the intelligent Tejasvis, among all the intelligent people, I am the intelligence itself. So in any given upadhi, remember, there can be intelligence, right? Even in the animal upadhis, there is some basic rudimentary intelligence. And in the human upadhi, where it is highly developed, also there is intelligence. But whether it is a worm or whether it is Einstein, that intelligence is not original intelligence. It is borrowed from me alone. I am the original source of all intelligence. That's what it means. Then Sattvatam, Sattvatam, among all the sattvic people, Sattvam Aham. I am the very Sattva Guna itself. And why is Sattva Guna so important? Because it represents the spiritual nature of a person. Rajoguna represents the materialistic inclination. So Artha Kama is caused by Rajoguna. Dharma Moksha is caused by Sattva Guna. Activity towards Dharma Moksha is caused by Sattva Guna. Of course, Tamoguna obstructs the activity for both Arthakama as well as Dharma Moksha. Then Vyavasayaha Asmi. Vyavasaha is the necessary effort. So the effort required to fulfill the desire for moksha, that effort I am. Of course, remember that it is not just spiritual activity. Any material activity also, you require effort. And among all the people who make the effort, the very effort itself, I am. So here, Vyavasayaha means perseverance or effort itself. And remember that in Sanskrit or in Hindi for that matter, Vyavasaya means the efforts made by industrialists, effort in the right direction, somebody who is industrious. So anyway, the whole thing is that any effort made by anybody, I am the very effort itself. That effort is borrowed from me. Then Jayosmi. So here we have to supply. Among all those who are victorious, I am the very victory itself. How the right effort will lead me to success. And when I am successful in any field, whether it be material or spiritual, I should remember that my victory comes from the fact that I have depended upon Ishvara. I have borrowed all the necessary qualities from Ishvara. So meditation on this is meant to make us humble, not be arrogant. All right. So we look at verse number 37. Vrishnīnām Vāsudevosmi.
Vrishnīnām Vāsudevosmi
Vasudevosmi
Pandavānām Dhananjayah.
Pandavānam Dhananjayah
Munīnāmapyaham Vyāsah.
Munīnāmapyaham Vyāsah
Kavīnāmuṣana Kavihi.
Kavīnāmuṣana Kavihi.
Vrishnīnām. The Vrishni is the... Okay, what is Vrishni?
the Vamsha of Krishna.
Yes. The
Yes.
Yadava Vamsha, that is called Vrishnis, right? So among the Vrishnis, the race to which Lord Krishna belonged, Vasudevaha Ahamasmi. I am Krishna. Why so? Because among everybody of that race, of that particular Vamsha, I am the avatar. I am the only avatar. And not only that, among all the avatars, what is the difference between Krishna avatar and other avatars? Good question. It's a very obvious answer, actually. No?
He destroyed his own Vamsha.
Oh.
Is that your?
Very, very obvious answer.
He gave us Bhagavad Gita.
Yes.
He is the only Brahma Vidya Acharya. He is the only avatara who taught Brahma Vidya. No other avatara taught Brahma Vidya. Right? Did any other avatar teach Brahma Vidya? Did, for example, Rama teach?
Oh, Acharya, there are many instances where Ram Gita, Lakshman Gita, they're all.
Kapila Bhagavan. Kapila
Rama Gita,
Bhagavan.
Rama Gita is there, yes. So Rama Gita is part of the Adhyatma Ramayana. Okay. In the Adhyatma Ramayana, what happens is that when, again I'm giving the stories, okay. When Lakshman is asked to go and send Sita to the forest, you remember that? He's supposed to keep Sita in the forest and come back because the washerman said something or a washerwoman said something. Right. So when he comes back, he is very unhappy. And his mind is in great, what you call, turmoil. At that point of time, Rama wants to console him and he goes to Rama and says, please teach me what is this solution for my sorrow. So only there Rama teaches Lakshmana. And this is not part of the original Ramayana. Okay, it's part of another Ramayana called Adhyatma Ramayana, which is a extract from the original Ramayana. So when you talk about avatars teaching, what you call Brahma Vidya, we take only Arjuna. I'm sorry, only Krishna. And that is what he's referring to here. I am the only avatara who has taught Brahma Vidya. I am the only Brahma Vidya Acharya. And of course, here Shankara adds, and yet I am eva aham tvatsakaha. I am the same person who is your friend, O Arjuna. Then Pandavanam Dhananjayaha. Among all the Pandavas, I am the greatest. Why? Because I am the only one who received Gita Shastram from the greatest teacher, Bhagavata Narayanana Swayam. So that greatest Pandava I am. Muninam aham Vyasaha. Among all the rishis, I am Vyasacharya. And why do we say Vyasacharya is the greatest?
He composed this.
Compiled the Vedas? Compiled them?
Oh, okay, but Vyasa's
Divided them and
greatest
made them.
contribution is Brahma Sutras. It is the foundation of all the Vedanta, in which he interprets every single Upanishad in many ways. Of course, he also compiled the Vedas put them into four Vedas. All that he has done. So Mahabharata also, he is the author. Therefore, in the compilation of Gita also, Vyasa has a role. The teaching is Krishna's, but who brought it to us? Vyasacharya. And therefore, he is the greatest among all the Munis, all the Acharyas. Then Kavinam Ushana Kavihi. Among all the Kavis, Kavi is not poet. What is Kavi?
The wise one.
Yeah, so it's got a name, Kranta Darshi. The one who can see the past and the future. Trikala Darshi, as it is called. So among all the Jnanis who are Trikala Darshis, I am Ushni. Ushna is another name for Shukracharya. Who was Shukracharya?
The guru of
Guru of the demons, Rakshasas.
Demons.
Guru of the Asuras. And the biggest problem was that nobody would ever listen to him. He was the guru, all right, but nobody listened to him. Okay. Then, verse number 38. Dando Damayatamasmi.
Indodamayatamasmi.
Nitirasmi Jigishatam.
Nitirasmi
Maunam Chaivasmi Gahyanam.
Maunam Jnanam
Jnanavatamaham.
Jnanavatamaham.
So Damayatam, among all the Damayatams, whoever has got his mic on, will you please put it off? Okay, among all the Damayatam is a tool for punishment, right? So among all the Damayatams, among all the tools of punishment, I am Dandaha, I am the stick. And therefore, you find in Chanakya Niti that Samadana, Bheda, Danda. There are 4 ways of dealing with the enemy, right? And among them, when the other 3 fail, Samadana, Bheda, they fail, then Danda is the most powerful, the punishment, which gives an instantaneous result. Then Jigishatam. Among those who, Jigishatam is the people wanting to be victorious, right? Among all the Jigishatams, among all those people who want victory, I am Niti. I am justice. And that's a very important idea, because victory within the framework of justice only is a real victory. Success or victory within at the cost of justice is a meaningless entity for the Vaidika. And therefore, for the mature person, not only is the end important, the means are also important. So Vedanta does not believe in victory at all costs. You must have justice in your victory. Then Guhyanam, among all the secrets, Maunam Asmi, I am Maunam. Maunam is the greatest secret. Why? When a person is silent, he cannot know what he was thinking, right? And silence can be interpreted in many ways. So supposing you come and ask me, who is Ishvara? And I remain silent. What are the various interpretations you can give? So one interpretation can be, I don't think. Yes. One interpretation can be, Ishvara cannot be described. Another interpretation to my silence is that I don't think there is an Ishvara. Another interpretation for silence is that I don't think your question deserves an answer. Right? And there are so many interpretations. But I might be just in Maunam that day. That can also be that. And therefore, silence can lead to a lot of interpretations. Therefore, he says, silence is the greatest secret. Because you can never know what the silent person is thinking. In Vedanta, of course, there is a completely different meaning of silence. What is that?
Silence is the truth. It's the Turiam state. Like
Silence
Yeah.
is Turiam Brahman.
Brahman.
Amatra. It was called Amatra in Mandukya Upanishad. Amatra. Complete silence. There is nothing excepting consciousness. That is called silence. Then Jnanavatam. Among all the peoples who are Jnanis, I am the very Jnanam. Jnanam Aham Asmi. That Jnanam itself, knowledge itself, I am. The wise person is considered great because of the knowledge. And the knowledge is given by the Lord. It belongs to the Lord. So when you do namaskara to a jnani, remember the namaskara doesn't go to the jnani, but it goes to that power because of which a jnani is a jnani. And what is that power? It is jnanam. And when you look at jnanam in the Upanishads, jnana swarupa is nothing but atma swarupa or brahma swarupa. And therefore, when you do namaskara, remember to your teacher, you are actually doing namaskara to the whole tradition, to the whole parampara. And when you are doing namaskara to the entire parampara, the namaskara goes to the knowledge which is being imparted by the parampara. And when you give the namaskara to the knowledge, that knowledge is not different from Ishvara. So ultimately, the namaskara goes to Ishvara. That is why no genuine teacher will ever accept the namaskara for himself. So somebody does namaskara to a teacher, what does he do? He hands over the namaskara to his teacher, who hands it over to his teacher. The namaskara goes to the whole tradition. Who is the last one to receive? The Lord himself. Sadashiva Samarambha, Shankaracharya Madhyama. Okay. Then verse number 39. Yachhapi sarva bhutanam
Yachhapi
sarvabhutanam
Nam
bijam tadaham Arjuna.
Bijam tadaham Arjuna
Natadasti vinayat syat मया भूतं चराचरम्
Maya bhūtam characharam.
So this is the last of the vibhutis. We started with something else, consciousness principle. Now we are ending up with the existence principle. Sarva bhutanam aham bijam asmi. I am the very seed, the very upadana karanam of all living beings. Which is what? Not necessarily living beings, of all beings. Sarva bhutana, of all beings which are in existence. What am I? I am the bijam. I am the very existence principle. I am the sat in creation. And remember, what did he say in verse number 10? Aham atma gudakeshaha. I am the very chit in every living being. In every being, I am the chit. Now he says, I am the sat in every being. I am sat, chit, and swarupa. I obtain in the entire creation. I am there everywhere. You cannot miss me. And therefore, na asti. There is nothing in this creation which is chara acharam, which is moving or stationary, vina maya yat syat, which can exist without me. Everything in creation exists only because of me, which means that it is because of me that the existence principle is given to anything in creation. Just like no ornament can exist without gold, nothing can exist without existence itself. And that existence I am. Because I lend not only chit, but I also lend sat. I lend consciousness. And I also lend the very existence itself. Right? And that's a very nice combination. Because to be conscious, must you exist or not?
Yes.
And to know that you are existent, must you be conscious or not? And therefore, existence and consciousness are the very essence of Brahman. So, and Shankara sums up the subject by saying that if anything is separated from me, maya apakrishtam, anything is separated by me, he says everything becomes shunyam. There is no content in anything without me. So when the gold is separated from the ring, the gold becomes shunyam, without existence. And therefore, I am the very essence of everything. Now, if you see, he started with chit, ended with sat. Therefore, chat, sat, and chit are what? The glories, the vibhuti of Nirguna Ishvara. All the other ones we saw in all the intermediate verses, they are the vibhutis of Saguna Ishvara. Okay. Verse number 40. Nantosti mama divyanam
Nantosti mama
Divyanam
vibhutinam parantapa.
vibhutinam
Parantapa.
parantapa.
एष तु देशतः एष तु देशतः प्रोक्तः
एषतः प्रोक्तः
भूतेर्विस्तरो मया
मूर्तेर्विप्रो मया
सो मम दिव्यानां विभूतीनां अन्तः न अस्ति. So if you look at that word, Mama Divyanam, the first two words of the second and third word of the first line, Mama Divyanam Vibhutinam, of my various divine glories, Antaha na asti he Parantapa. There is no end, he Parantapa. I cannot go on talking about my glories, Arjuna, because there is no end to it. The list is inexhaustible. And eva eshaha vistaraha vibhutehe. What I have given you is only an illustration. Uddeshataha. Uddeshataha is a sample, illustration. So eshaha vistaraha vibhute maya proktaha. All the details of my vibhutis, which have been mentioned by me in all these verses so far, uddeshataha, they are only an example. Why did I give the examples? So that you can understand what is a vibhuti. Because I can never give you the entire list, because the list is inexhaustible, it is infinite, so I cannot talk about the entire list. Then verse number 41. Yad yad vibhuti mat sattvam
Bhutimatsyattvam
Tvam
Srimad urjitam eva va
Srimadurjitam eva va
Bhava
tattadevasvagachatvam
तदेव
Tattva
mama mama tejomsha sambhavam.
मम
Mama
तेजोंशसम्भवम्
Sambhavam.
So now the question is that if you have given me only, this is a possible question which Arjuna can ask. If you have given me only an illustration, how am I supposed to know when something is a glory or not? So that Krishna is answering. Yad yat sattvam, whatever is there, vibhuti mat, which is glorious. And what are they? Srimat eva urjitam. Sri is Lakshmi, abundance. Whenever there is a abundance of anything, whenever there are lots of forests, whenever there are lots of mountains, when there is lots of wealth, along with that, anybody who has a lot of utsaha upetam, who has a lot of energy, tvam avagachaha, may you recognize tat tad eva, all those things as mamaha, tejaha, amshaha, sambhavam, as born out of a very important idea here. Whatever you see which is glorious in this universe, mama amshaha sambhavam. Remember that it is born out of a small fraction of my glory. You take the sun, you take the stars, you take the galaxies, you take the expanding galaxies, you take supernovas, all huge things. But remember that these are only a very tiny fraction of my glory. So he's saying that a person who's a Vaidika, whenever he sees an extraordinary thing, whether it is a star exploding, or whether it is a supernova, whether it is a huge galaxy, or whether it is a small little beautiful flower, tat tat avagachaha, may you understand that that beautiful, powerful, or small, wonderful thing is a very, very tiny part of my glory. So tejaha amsha sambhavam. Tejaha here means glory, mahima. Amshaha means small part. So amshaha tejaha, understand that is a very, very tiny part of my glory. And that is why whenever we see something in this world which is glorious, we worship it. And that is why Vaidikas worship nature. They worship mountains, they worship the sun, they worship the moon, they worship the rivers. Everything is nothing but an indication of the glory of Bhagavan. Now we go to the last verse. Athava bahunaitena
अथवा बहुनैतेन
kim gyatena tavarjuna
ज्ञातेनार्थवार्जुन
vishthabhyahamidam kritsnam
विष्टस्याहमिदं कृत्स्नम्
Abhyahadam Krishnam
ekamshena sthito jagat.
एकांशेन स्थितो जगत्
Jagat
Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu
Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishad
उपनिषत्सु
Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre
Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre
Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade
Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade
Vibhuti Yogo Nama
Vibhuti Yogo
Vibhuti Nama
Namaha
Dashamodhyayah.
Dashamodhyayah.
Okay, so last verse. So he says, Bahunai tena jnatena. What is the use of all these elaborate descriptions that I am giving you? Which is, I am in the mountain, I am the best among the mountains, I am the best among intelligent people, I am Ganga among all the rivers. All this list can never be concluded, right? So what is the use of such a elaborate enumeration if you think you want more, Therefore, if I don't conclude the entire list, don't think that I am not teaching fully, because athava, there is another method for letting you know the full glory. And what is there? Aham idam kritsnam jagat vishthabhya asthitaha. I remain asthitaha. I remain aham asthitaha. I remain idam kritsnam jagat vishthabhya, by supporting the entire creation. The entire universe is supported by me alone, which is another way of saying the entire universe is within me. Ishvara is not in living beings, but all living beings are in Ishvara. So, a very nice idea saying that when something is within you, like for example, the table is in your room, does it occupy the entire room? No. And therefore, all the living beings within me, by way of saying that all of them do not fully occupy what I am. They are only a small part of me. I am only sustaining them. Therefore, it is Ekam Sena. The whole cosmos, the whole universe is only occupying a part of me. Right? Now, you might think what part? 1/10, 1/5, 1/3, 1/6. Because part. That Krishna doesn't say. So Shankara defines Ekam Shena as Ekapadena, 1/4 of me. So where does Shankara get the idea that the world occupies 25% of Brahman? Shankara doesn't want to say that it's my idea. So he quotes Veda. He quotes Shruti. So there is a Rig Veda mantra, Padosya Vishwabhutani. All the entire universe, Pado Asyaha, is only 1/4 of me, right? And therefore, if you want to interpret that, you have to say that the entire universe, in the entire universe, if you want to break it into parts, Saguna Brahman is 25%, Nirguna Brahman is 75%. What is wrong with this interpretation? Remember, Shruti Vakyam is there. Padosya Vishwabhutani. All the living beings and the universe is one pada, 1/4 of me. If you give that interpretation, is there something wrong?
Ishvara is nir-avayava.
Well,
Everything is Nirguna.
Divided into parts. So
So
3
that's
quarters
a
therefore becomes that. It's a matter of statement over here. Because Nirgun Brahma is infinite. It is all pervading.
and can
And
you
there can be
divide
no part
infinite?
in.
Exactly. Because Brahman is infinite, you cannot take the statement literally. Even the Shruti Vakyam has to be interpreted. You cannot take it literally to mean 25%, even though Pada literally means 1/4, right? But here you have to take it as one part of, occupying one small area of. Because Nirguna Brahman, if you divide into parts, anything which you can divide cannot be infinite. If you can say that Saguna Brahman is 1/4 of the whole, then Nirguna Brahman is no longer infinite. What he is saying is that essentially you cannot define how big I am because I am infinite. There are no words, hey Arjuna. So this chapter is meant for repeated contemplation. Why? It makes us appreciate what we are. The more we are able to appreciate that, everything is given to us by Ishvara, As a jiva, I am saying, you will appreciate that nothing has been created by you. You will appreciate that whatever I can do as a jiva, it is very, very finite. Your ego becomes very diluted. And an ego which is very diluted is an ego which has no capacity to bind you. And for such an ego, Vedanta becomes very, very simple. So with this, we'll stop here. Any questions? Remember, I said in the beginning that this chapter is not, very Vedantic, so it is fine. Next chapter also is meant for meditation. So 10th and 11th chapters are basically a small break from Vedanta. When you go to 12th, again we'll start with proper Vedanta.
Acharya, while I was reading was listening to your previous class, I realized that in verse 29, 30 and 33, Krishna has referred to Kala Tattvam in all the three. In verse 29, he had said, Yamaha Sanyamatam Aham.
Yeah.
So he was referring to...
Among all the controllers, I am Yamaha.
Yes. And then in the next one, he said, Kalaha
Kalayatam.
So, and in also the 33rd, Evakshayaha Kalaha.
Yeah.
So, is that not repetition?
When an idea has to be driven home, which is very important. What is important about Kalaha? Not as Yamraj.
Time.
That's the very principle of
Limiting.
dissolution, which is Ishvara himself. That's why it's important. We have to understand that what he's trying to drive home is that time also has no existence outside of me. And if time has no existence, space has no existence either.
But in this 31st verse, he says, Akshayaha Kalaha. So that means indestructible Kalaha. So,
Yes. Indestructible Kalaha. If you remember, okay, it'll come in the next chapter, that there are two functions of Ishvara. One is as the destroyer and one is as a creator. He's referring to that. Those functions are not destructible.
Okay.
So with
Thank
this,
you.
we'll stop. Thank you for your patience. And I hope you enjoyed the 10th chapter, because not too much of knowledge.
Yes,
Must have given you a small little break.
It reads so well amongst all.
Yes.
And many stories, many anecdotes.
Story time is over, okay?
Yeah, now back to Nirguna Brahman.
Back to our Brahman. Okay, with that we'll stop for today. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Tat Sat. Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you for your patience. Om Tat Sat.
Thank you, Acharya. Thank you, Acharya.